consider the food chain, we can say that different organisms occupy different feeding level. That particular feeding level of an organism is called a trophic level. What is trophic level? The specific place of the organism in the food chain is known as trophic level. Before we already mentioned one of the examples. Here, grass, God, man. Grass is eaten up by God, God is eaten up by man. This is one of the simple example. If you observe this particular food chain, we can see that different organisms occupy different level, different feeding level. That is called a trophic level. Is it clear? One of the simple example, grass, God, man. Or we can say that another one of the example, grass, grasshopper, frog and snake. This is one of the examples. Consider this food chain. We can see that each organism occupy one feeding level, that is called, or different feeding level, that is called a trophic level. So a specific place of organism in the food chain is known as their trophic level. This is the first, always the first trophic level is occupied by green plants. They are the primary producer. Listen carefully. Always the first trophic level is occupied by green plants. That is called a primary producer. Example, phytoplankton or grass or trees. These all are occupied the primary producer trophic level. That is the first trophic level. If you consider the grass, grasshopper, frog and snake, which one is the primary producer? Grass is the primary producer that occupy the first trophic level. In every trophic level, the bottom part occupied by primary producer, that is the first trophic level, and the top part occupied by tertiary consumer, that is the fourth or fifth or sixth or trophic level. Always the top part occupied by tertiary consumer, that is the fourth or fifth or sixth trophic level. If the bottom part occupied by primary trophic level organism, phytoplankton or grass or trees, etc. Then the second trophic level occupied by herbivore such as zooplankton, grasshopper, cow, etc. These are the primary consumer. After that, the secondary consumer, that is coming under the third trophic level. They are carnivorous like birds, fishes, fowls, etc. Then next one, the tertiary consumer, that is the fourth trophic level, that is the top carnivore level. Example, man, lion, etc. In this way, the different organisms are occupy the different levels or different place. That is called a trophic level. What is trophic level? The organism occupy different place in food chain, that is called a trophic level. So we already understood what is trophic level. The amount of living material present in different trophic level or each trophic level, that is called a standing crop. It is expressed in the number of biomass per unit area. So what is standing crop? The total amount of living material present in each trophic level or different trophic level, that is called a standing crop. Look this one. This is one of the example for energy flow through different trophic level. Suns providing the energy that is used by green plants for synthesizing the food material. After that, green plants is eaten up by the herbivorous organisms. After that, herbivorous is eaten up by the consumer carnivorous or the secondary consumer. And after that, secondary consumer is eaten up by the tertiary consumer. In this way, a chain is established. During this process, the energy or food is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. We already know that sun is providing the light energy. Is it clear? From that light energy, plants use only 2 to 10% of the PAR. Is it clear? Total PAR is less than 50%. Plants consume only 2 to 10% of the total PAR. Is it clear? From the sun, that particular light energy is trapped by green plants. So green plants synthesizing food material. From the primary producer level, that particular energy is transferred from primary producer to primary consumer, secondary consumer and finally tertiary consumer. In this way, the energy is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. During that particular energy flow, one thing will happen. The energy, we already know that second law of thermodynamics. What is second law of thermodynamics? Whenever the energy is transferred from one state to another, there is a decrease in useful energy. Look here, example, The amount of energy decreases at a successive trophic level. When an organism dies, it becomes dead biomass or detritus. It is an energy source for decomposers. Organisms at each trophic level depend on those at lower trophic level for energy. Before I already mentioned. One of the examples that is related to the flow of energy in an ecosystem. Just consider one of the food chain. Grass, grasshopper, frog, snake. This is one kind of food chain. As you all know that the ultimate source of energy, that is sun. Is it? So in this food chain, the grass is the first trophic level, grasshopper is the second trophic level, frog is the third trophic level, and snake is the fourth trophic level. Is it clear? This is the primary producer. This is the primary consumer. Then third trophic level occupied the secondary consumer. Third trophic level occupied secondary consumer, and fourth one occupied by tertiary consumer. So PP means primary producer, PC means primary consumer, SC means secondary consumer, TC means tertiary consumer. This is one kind of the food chain. So here we are explaining the energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. While the energy is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level, there is a loss of energy in the form of heat. Suppose the sun providing 10,000 joule. Just imagine 10,000 joule. From that 10,000 joule, only the 1% joule is absorbed by green plants. So 1% joule is how much? Only the 100 joule energy. Is it? So the 100 joule energy is present in where? Primary producer level or first trophic level, that is in grass, or that is the plant. Is it clear? So from here, the grass is eaten up by grasshopper. At that time, from the 100 joule, only the 10% joule is transferred from grass to grasshopper, or from the first trophic level to second trophic level. That is equal to 10 joule. Is it clear? 100 into 10%, how much you will get? Only 10 joule. Is it clear? So here there is a loss of energy in the form of almost 90 joule energy is lost in the form of what? Heat. So grass to grasshopper, once the grass is eaten up by grasshopper, only 10% energy is transferred from the total energy present in the grass. Total energy is how much? 100 joule. From there, the 10% only transfer. Remaining 90 joule is lost as in the form of heat. Then after that, the second trophic level, how much energy is present? 10 joule energy is present. From here, the grasshopper is eaten up by frog. At that time, from the 10 joule, only the 10% of energy is transferred. How much you will get? Only 1 joule. Is it clear? The remaining 9 joule is lost as in the form of heat. Then the third trophic level, how much energy is present? 1 joule energy is present. Is it clear? From the frog is eaten up by. Next one, the frog is eaten up by snake. At that time, the total energy is present in the frog, that is 1 joule. So from that 1 joule, only the 10% joule is transferred from frog to snake. So only the 0.1 joule in where snakes. So the snakes got 0.1 joule. So the remaining 0.9 joule is lost in the form of what? Heat. So if you observe this particular food chain, we can see that there is a loss of energy in each and every trophic level, that is in the form of heat. Is it clear? So here the energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. We already know that ecosystem obey the second law and first law of the thermodynamics. What is the second law of the thermodynamics? Whenever the energy is transferred from one state to another, there is a decrease in the amount of usable energy. Here look, from grass to grasshopper, there is a loss of energy in the form of heat. From grasshopper to frog, there is a loss of energy in the form of heat. From frog to snake, there is a loss of energy in the form of heat. So we can say that ecosystem's energy flow is always unidirectional. This particular 10% law is given by Lindemann. 10% law is given by Lindemann. So this is called Lillman 10% law. What is Lillman 10% law? Only the 10% of energy is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. That is given by Lillman. That law is called 10% law. This is one of the example for energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. Is it clear? Next one we are going to discuss about ecological pyramid. What is ecological pyramid? The graphical representation of the successive trophic level in an ecosystem in the form of pyramid, that is called ecological pyramid. Or we can say that ecological pyramids are the representation of food chain in the form of a pyramid. We already know that what is food chain. That food chain we can represent it in the form of pyramid, that is called ecological pyramid. In ecological pyramid, the base occupies producers and the top occupy top carnivores. Always the base occupied producers, or the primary producers occupy the base and the top carnivores occupy the top part. There are two types of pyramids. One is inverted pyramid and another one is upright pyramid. This is the upright pyramid. Upright pyramid, the base is broad and the top is narrow. Inverted pyramid means the base is narrow and the top is broad. These are the two type of pyramid. One is upright pyramid. This is one of the upright pyramid. Here the base is broad and the top is narrow. Then inverted pyramid means how like inverted pyramid case, the base is narrow and the top part is broad. These are the two type of pyramid, inverted pyramid and upright pyramid. Is it clear? Here we are discussing about the different type of ecological pyramid. One is based on the number, then another one is based on the biomass, then another one is based on the energy. There are three type of pyramid. One is pyramid of number, another one pyramid of biomass, another one pyramid of energy. What is pyramid of number? Pyramid of number means it is one kind of the ecological pyramid. Here the graphical representation of the number of organisms of successive trophic level in an ecosystem is in the form of pyramid. We know that what is ecological pyramid. Is it clear? The food chain can be represented in the form of pyramid. That is called ecological pyramid. Here that particular number of organisms in successive trophic level of an ecosystem is in the form of pyramid, that is called pyramid in number or pyramid of number. Here one of the example, grassland ecosystem. Look here, primary producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. So we got a pyramid like structure. Here look, number of individual in primary producer is broader and then tertiary consumer is the top carnivore. That particular part is narrow. In this case, primary producer is broader part and the top part is the narrow part, that is occupied by tertiary consumer. First trophic level, second trophic level, third trophic level and fourth trophic level. Is it clear? So each and every trophic level we are representing their number of individual. First trophic level their number is small, second trophic level very less number, then secondary consumer case or the third trophic level again the number is decreasing and the top carnivore or the tertiary consumer, or we can say that the fourth trophic level again the number is decreasing. So here from producer to top carnivore there is a decrease in the number of individual. So this particular pyramid form the upright pyramid. Upright pyramid means that basal part is broader than that of the top part. That is the upright pyramid. Is it clear? So this is the number of pyramid or pyramid in number. The same time the pyramid of number is inverted. If you consider one of the food chain involving parasite, we know that the parasite number is more than that of the host. One example, a single tree support a large number of fruit eating bird, which in turn support a large amount of ectoparasite. So in this case only one tree is in producer level. Is it clear? So that particular base is narrow. Then the number of bird is more than that of the plants. Is it clear? Then again that particular part is become broad. Then that particular parasite is more than that of the bird. So the top part is more broader than that of the basal part. In such a case, that particular pyramid is called a inverted pyramid. Is it clear? In that case, the broader part is occupied at the top part and the narrow part is occupied at the basal part. Such a type of pyramid is called inverted pyramid. Then another one of the type of pyramid, pyramid of biomass. What is biomass? The total amount of weight is called a biomass. The total amount of weight is called biomass. Here one of the example, it shows a sharp decrease in biomass at a higher trophic level. Look here biomass, how can we represent the biomass? Dry weight kilogram per meter cube, that is the biomass. Before we are explaining the number, is it clear? Pyramid in number, we are expressed in number of individuals. Here that pyramid of biomass, we are given what? Dry weight of the organism. So dry weight of the organism, the primary producer occupy the basal part, that is broad part, and the top carnivore occupy the top part, that is the narrow part. Here also what kind of pyramid is formed? Upright pyramid is formed. Is it clear? Sometimes the pyramid of biomass also inverted. One of the example, pyramid of biomass in sea is inverted because the weight of fishes far exceed that of phytoplankton. Phytoplankton, you know that already, is it? So phytoplanktons are the autotrophic category or biotic component or the producer category. Is it clear? In the case of biomass of sea, that particular pyramid is inverted because the reason, the weight of the fishes far exceed that of the phytoplankton. That is the reason why that particular pyramid is inverted pyramid. What type of pyramid? Pyramid of biomass is inverted. This is the upright and inverted pyramid of biomass. The next one is pyramid of energy. What is pyramid of energy? The graphical representation of the energy of an organism in successive trophic level in an ecosystem in the form of what? Pyramid, that is called a pyramid of energy. We already explained the energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. That is the reason why the energy of an pyramid is always upright because there is a loss of energy in each and every trophic level is in the form of heat. That is the reason why energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional and the pyramid of energy is also upright. This is one of the example for pyramid of energy. Before already we explained. Look here, sun providing how much? 10 lakh joule. But that particular primary producer, plants consuming only the 10,000 joule. From there, primary consumer absorbing only the 10% of the total joules provided from the producer level. That is the 1000 joule, then 100 joule, then 10 joule. So there is a loss of energy in the form of heat. That is the reason why that particular energy flow in an ecosystem is unidirectional. At the same time, that particular pyramid is upright. These are the three different type of pyramid. So what are the pyramid? Ecological pyramid. One is pyramid in number, another one is pyramid in biomass, another one is pyramid of energy. Is it clear? Next one, limitations of ecological pyramid. What are the limitations of ecological pyramid? Ecological pyramid does not take the same species in one or two trophic level. Look here, it does not take into the account the same species belong to two or more trophic level. The same species never exists in two or more trophic level. That is one of the limitation. Another one of the limitation, it assumes a simple food chain that almost never exists in nature. The same time, it does not accommodate a food web. Here the food web, we cannot see here what? Food web. What is food web? Network of interconnected food chain is called a food web. The food web cannot accommodate in where? Ecological pyramid. Is it clear? That is another one of the limitations. Next one is saprophytes are not included in where? Ecological pyramid. These are the important limitations regarding to the ecological pyramid. Is it clear? The next one is succession. What do you mean by succession or ecological succession? The gradual, sequential, predictable changes occurring species composition in an area is called succession or ecological succession. What is ecological succession? It is the gradual, sequential, predictable changes occurring where species composition in an area, that is called ecological succession. We know that what is species composition? It is the structural feature of an ecosystem. Different varieties of plants and animals occur in ecosystem, that is called species composition. Clear? Ecological succession, the entire sequence of community that successively change an area, that is called a seer, and the individual transitional community is termed as seral stage or seral community. The species involved in the bare area is called a pioneer species. The first species formed in that particular bare area, that is called pioneer species. There are two types of succession. One is called primary succession and another one is called secondary succession. Primary succession means, what is primary succession? The succession takes place in area where no living organisms are ever existed. Primary succession means what? The succession takes place in an areas where no living organisms never existed. That is called primary succession. Example, newly cooled lava, bare rock, newly created pond or reservoir. If the succession takes place in that area, that type of succession is called primary succession. Another one is secondary succession. What is secondary succession? The succession takes place in an area after the existed organisms are lost. What is secondary succession? The succession takes place in an area after the existed organisms are lost. Example, abundant farmland, burned or cut forest, and land that are flooded. Already that place organisms are existed, but they are lost because of the human activity or natural calamities. Such place, if the succession takes place, that is called a secondary succession. Example, abundant farmland, burned or cut forest, land that are flooded. If the succession takes place in there, we can call that is the secondary succession. Since some soils are sediment is present, succession is faster than the primary succession. Which succession? Secondary succession is faster than that the primary succession. The species that invade the bare area, that is called which one? Pioneer species. Pioneer species. So here we are discussing about two type of succession in plants. One is called hierarch succession. Another one is called hierarch succession. Based on the nature of the habitat, plant successions are two types: hierarch succession and hierarch succession. One, hierarch succession. If the succession takes place in wetter area or water, that is called hierarch succession or hydrosphere. It progress from hydric to mesic condition, from water to mesic condition. Mesic condition means neither dry or too wet. That is the mesic condition. Neither too dry or too wet. That is the mesic condition. Is it clear? Then another one is hierarch succession. If the succession takes place in dry area, that is called hierarch succession or xerosphere. It progresses from xeric to mesic condition. In both the succession case, that particular succession is begin from water to mesic, and another case xeric to mesic. Here water to mesic, here xeric to mesic. We are discussing about the hierarch succession. If the succession takes place in bare rock or dry area, that is called a hierarch succession. In this case, lichens are the pioneer species. What is pioneer species? The species that invade a bare area, that is called a pioneer species. Here the lichens are grows in that particular bare area. The first species grows in that particular area, that is called lichen. So the lichens are the pioneer species. So the lichens secrete the acid that dissolve the rocks, and automatically there what will form weathering and soil. Then after that the next species is there form, that is small plant like bryophyte. So this particular lichen secreting the acid, that acid is dissolving the rock. Because of that particular dissolving rocks, that is helping for the weathering process that leads to the soil formation. That soil is very helping for the the growth of one of the organisms like bryophyta, example moss. So small plants like bryophyte, they need only small amount of soil. So the bryophytes are grows in where this particular area. So beginners lichen, after that moss, then after that bigger plants, then forest. So bigger plants, then forest. This is the way the succession takes place. So we can say that the succession is begin from where? Xerarch condition, which means bare area, dry condition, and ended to where? Mesic condition. Forest is neither too dry or too wet. That is the mesic condition. Is it clear? So what are the stages of Xerarch succession? Lichen stage, moss stage, shrub stage, and forest stage. Lichen stage, moss stage, shrub stage, and forest stage. This is the way that particular organisms develop there. So we can say that the succession or the ecological successions are the sequential, gradual, predictable changes occur in the species composition in an area. So here all different species compositions are occur in that particular area. What will happen? A gradual, sequential, predictable changes occur. That is called a Xerarch succession. Then another one of the succession in plants, that is called a Hydrarch succession. Look here, Hydrarch succession. That succession takes place in where? Water. Here the pioneer species is called a phytoplankton. Phytoplankton, the aquatic plants. Phytoplanktons are the pioneer species, the species that invade a water or invade that particular Hydrarch succession, that is called a phytoplankton. There are different stages involved in the formation of Hydrarch succession. First stage is phytoplankton stage, then followed by submerged plant, then submerged free floating plant, then reed swamp stage, marsh meadow stage, and scrub stage, and forest. So there are 7 stages involved in where Hydrarch succession. The pioneer species are phytoplankton, followed by submerged plant stage, followed by submerged free floating plant stage. The next one reed swamp stage, next one marsh meadow stage, and scrub stage, and finally forest. Here also the succession begins from water and ended to where? Climax community, that is forest. So with the time the water body is converted into land. That is takes place in where? Hydrarch succession. Climax community is a forest. Phytoplankton is the pioneer stage, rooted submerged plant, rooted floating angiosperm, then free floating plants, reed swamp, marsh meadow stage, scrub stage, and trees or forest. These are the succession takes place in water. Is it clear? Next one is nutrient cycling. What is nutrient cycling? We know that in atmosphere different nutrients are present, like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, water. These all the nutrients are transferred from or flows from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. That is called a nutrient cycle or biogeochemical cycle. Is it clear? Biogeochemical cycle. What is biogeochemical cycle or nutrient cycle? The materials like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygens are flows from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. That is called a nutrient cycle. That is another one functions of what? Ecosystem. Nutrient cycle. Here we are going to introduce another one of the term, standing state. What is standing state? The amount of nutrients present in the soil in a given time, that is called standing state. Nutrients means carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, that is the nutrients. That is called a standing state. We already learned another one of the terms, standing crop. What is standing crop? The amount of living material present in each and every trophic level, that is called a standing crop. This is standing state. What is standing state? The amount of nutrient present in the soil in a given time is called a standing state. It varies in different kind of ecosystem and also on seasonal basis. Nutrients are never lost from ecosystem, they are recycled again and again. Before I already mentioned, nutrients in an ecosystem is always cyclic and energy flow in an ecosystem is always unidirectional. So that particular nutrients are flows from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. That is called biogeochemical cycle. Is it clear? So here we are discussing two type of nutrient cycle. One is gaseous cycle, another one is sedimentary cycle. Gaseous cycle means here the gaseous materials are flow from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. That is called a gaseous cycle. Then the reservoir of the gaseous cycle is atmosphere. Example, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle. These all are the type of nutrient cycle that is coming under the category of gaseous cycle. Then another one of the nutrient cycle, that is sedimentary cycle. Here the reservoir is earth crust. Sedimentary cycle, their reservoir is earth crust. Example, sulfur and phosphorus cycle. The rate of release of nutrients into the atmosphere is regulated by environmental factors such as soil, moisture, pH, temperature, etc. It regulates the rate of release of nutrients into the atmosphere. The same time, the reservoir meet with the deficiency of nutrients due to imbalance in the rate of influx and efflux, input and output. So these are the different type of nutrient cycle. First we are discussing about the carbon cycle, that is coming under the category of gaseous cycle. So what is carbon cycle? The material, here the material is carbon. Carbon is flows from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. That is called carbon cycle. The reservoir of the carbon is atmosphere. We know that in four forms the carbon is existed in nature. One is free carbon dioxide in atmosphere. Another one is dissolved form of carbon in water. Then another one is fossil fuel like coal, petrol. And another one is carbonate and graphite. So these are the way the carbon is existed in nature. Either carbon form or the carbonate form or the carbon dioxide form. These are the way the carbon is existed in nature. Carbon cycle occurs through atmosphere, ocean and through living and dead organisms. We know that a major amount of the carbon returned to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide through respiration. During respiration, we release the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. For that particular carbon dioxide is taken up by plants for synthesizing food material. That is called a photosynthesis. So the respiration and photosynthesis are helping to maintain the amount of carbon in atmosphere. Is it clear? Then process of waste and dead organic matter by decomposers also release carbon dioxide. Burning of fossil fuel, the carbon is releasing the same time. Human activities like deforestation and vehicular burning of fossil fuel leads to the increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere. These are the way the carbon is flows from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. Then the role of human activities in carbon cycle we already explained. Deforestation, burning of fossil fuel, etc. has increased the rate of release the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The next one is phosphorus cycle. What is phosphorus cycle? Here the phosphorus is flows from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. That is called phosphorus cycle. The reservoir of the phosphorus cycle is earth crust. Here phosphorus is the constituents of biological membrane, nucleic acid, cellular energy transfer system. Nucleic acid, what is nucleic acid? DNA and RNA which contain phosphate group is present. Then cellular energy transfer system, that is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which component is present? Phosphorus is present. So we can say that it is the constituent of the biological membrane, nucleic acid and cellular energy transfer system. At the same time, many animals use phosphorus to make shell, bones and teeth. Our bone and shells, that all are made up of phosphorus other than calcium. Is it clear? So we already explained the reservoir of the sedimentary cycle is earth crust. Here that particular phosphorus is found in where? Rock. The natural reservoir of the phosphorus is rock. It is in the form of phosphate, not in phosphorus form, it is in the form of phosphate when rocks are weathered. You already know that weathering, soil formation. When the rocks are weathered, minute amount of phosphate dissolved in soil solution and that is absorbed by the plants, herbivores and other animals obtain this from the plant. During weathering, the rock is break down to produce soil. Along with the soil, some amount of phosphate also goes to where? Soil. That particular phosphate is consumed by plants, which is consumed by herbivores and some other animals. Is it clear? So that is the way that phosphorus is or the phosphate is entering to the biotic organism. From where? From the abiotic to biotic. After that, the waste product and the dead organisms are decomposed by phosphate solubilizing bacteria releasing phosphorus. Once the organism is died, from the body of the organism, that phosphorus is decomposed by phosphorus solubilizing bacteria, which in turn to phosphorus. Is it clear? In this way, that particular phosphorus is flows from abiotic to biotic and back to abiotic in a more or less cyclic manner. So these are the two important nutrient cycle. One is called a gaseous cycle, that is carbon cycle. Another one is sedimentary cycle, that is phosphorus cycle. Next one, ecosystem services. What is ecosystem services? The product of ecosystem process is termed as ecosystem services. The product of ecosystem process is termed as ecosystem services. Some of the ecosystem services are purify air and water. That particular ecosystem service of a healthy forest, it purify air and water, mitigate drought and flood and cyclic nutrients, generate fertile soil, provide wildlife habitat, maintain biodiversity, pollinate crops, provide storage site for carbon, provide aesthetic, cultural and spiritual value. These all are provided from where? Forest. So we can say that these are the product of ecosystem process, that is called ecosystem services. So simply we can say that the product we obtained from the ecosystem, that is called ecosystem services. All of you understood? This is the chapter. So we already discussed about this chapter. What is ecosystem, structure of ecosystem and functions of ecosystem. One is productivity, another one is decomposition, another one is energy flow, then another one is nutrient cycle. Then along with this we already explained the ecological pyramid, food chain, food web, ecosystem services.